Okay, beautiful people, we are live. Newcastle United 2, West Brom 1. Feels weird saying that, but again, it's true. It's actually fiction. It's not actually fact, not fiction. Sorry, but yeah, Newcastle United 1, 2-1. Dwight Gayle, put some respect on his name. Yes, you Fumbi, put some respect on Dwight Gale's name. Yeah, I said it with my whole chest. But yeah, welcome guys. Thoughts before we start. Pete, Fumbi, what are you saying?
You know what? When Gayle came on, this is me. He's gonna score. Like I knew he was gonna score.
Stop it.
He just knows how to score, innit? But here's the thing: it's not that I didn't like Gayle. I just thought we should get someone because he was injured. I think we should get someone like Troy Deeney who has the same intensity and wants to score goals. Our biggest issue was when we were chasing games, we'd bring on Carroll or Joe Linton. Yeah. No threat. Finally, we bring on someone that is a threat. You know, he already had a header that was saved by the goalkeeper. It's his first game back, so I was like, man, is he even going to be sharp? Boy, was he sharp.
Yeah.
I don't know what the injury was, but it didn't affect his brain, that's for sure.
Nah, you know what, you're right. Like, there were some interviews with Bruce, I think, earlier on this, like today, they were coming out, and one of the things he mentioned is that he said, "Oh, Dwight Gale's been looking really, really sharp in training. He's looked on it." And you know when you kind of hear it from like Steve Bruce, you're kind of thinking, "Is my man chatting? Is my man chatting?" Because you just don't know. Like, for all you know, he's been telling this for the last year that Joe Linton's been sharp in training, and my man's not turned up. You know what I mean? So you don't know whether to believe him or not. But you know what? He looked good, and to go with what you were saying from me, it's not an either or. Like, it's kind of like there's no reason why we still can't go for Troy Deeney in the transfer window and have him alongside Gayle. There's no reason why not, because it was very, very clear to see in that 15-20 minutes that Gayle was on the pitch that him and Wilson worked well together. So if him and Wilson can work well together, there's no doubt that Troy Deeney and Wilson can't work together. And having them as a three, that's what we've been missing. You go back 10 years. We've only ever really had one main striker that could score as the goals. We've never had another one behind him, or two or three. Like, if you go back to like Andy Carroll in the Championship 2009-10, we only really had him. If he got injured, we were screwed. Then you had Demba Ba. You know what I mean? Like, then we had a short period, 6 to 8 months, where we had Demba Ba and Papi Cisse, and we were just licking goals for fun. And then Demba Ba goes in the January, and then we're back to one again. And then you get Loic Remy in, and Loic Remy does his thing for a year, and then he leaves, and then we're back to Papi Cisse again. You know what I mean? Like, we've never really had a sustained period of time where you're looking at two strikers up top, or even three, and you're thinking, wow, like, we've got options here. You remember back in the day under Sir Bobby Robson, where we had Bellamy, Shearer, Cliver, Amiobi, Loa. You know what I mean?
We even had Viduka, Owen, Martins.
There you go.
I think that Seb brother that was scoring in mad goals for us. We just had a wealth of talent in them. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we had those options. So, like, it's not oh, you can only have Gayle or you can only have Troy Deeney. Why not have both? You know what I mean? We've got the likes of Atsu and Save that are licking up wages and they're not even in the squad, right? Get rid of those guys. We can supplement his Troy Deeney's wages for one of those guys. Will probably go in the window. I think they're looking at what's his name? Aaron's going really early in the transfer window. There was talk today that he's going to be the first one out the door, possibly even January the 1st, because he
Rolando.
Rolando Aaron's. He just missed out on his Huddersfield move. And that he's going to be first out the door potentially. There was the speculation about Atsu going to Celtic, for example. That will probably reignite because they're having a poor season, and they're going to need to strengthen. So there's an opportunity for one or two of those fringe players to leave, and for us to free up some wages for players to come in. It's ideal. Why not buffer up the striker area and make sure we've got absolute quality up there that can get us goals? So it's one of those things. But you know what? It was really nice to see. Steve Bruce make changes early, because there's times where he started making his changes at 82, 85, 89, 90 minutes. It's all too late by then. You know what I mean?
Sorry,
So
so
like,
not to cut you, Pete. Yeah, just to kind of run on your changes option. Did you feel like towards the end of the first half, you must have been thinking to yourself, he better say to them, look, we're about to concede, because we were
yeah,
just laying there, and then we literally started the second half like we ended the first, just
yeah.
waiting.
I looked at the clock and it was 43 minutes, and they were just pummeling us. I think it was.
Bro,
I think that was. It was
panicking.
honestly. It was around the time that Conor Gallagher, who played really well for them in
Oh
central,
my
he
God.
had that chance, and I was thinking at that point, 43 minutes, I was thinking we just need to hold out till half time now. Then we
Yeah,
just need to have a word with them.
yeah.
And at half time, we should have been saying to them, right, we need to start attacking them, because every time we did attack, we looked like we were going to
Just
score.
killed them.
We honestly, every attack with purpose that we had in that first half, we looked like we were going to score. But then you get like Almirón, or you get Richie, or you get Lewis, Kraft, even in wide areas getting the ball, and instead of taking on the man and getting the ball into the box, they just play the ball sideways, or they're playing backwards.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah. It was getting on my nerves.
you know what I mean?
Almirón had
We're not
two
playing Chelsea here.
opportunities. Almirón had two opportunities to run at the fullback, and he just waited for Callum Wilson and kind of laid it off. And I'm like, bro, I feel like his confidence kind of started so high, then he kind of brought it back down to how he normally plays again. Because one time he turned Phillips, and okay, Phillips outmuscled him because he's got pace as well. But I think he thought, you know what, I can't run at this guy. Let me give it easy. It's like, no, keep doing that.
Yeah.
And another thing, Pete, they had a midfielder who is what we're missing. Someone who can drive. Because Shelby just sits there and waits for a Hollywood pass. He doesn't drive with the ball, and that's why we end up seeing back a lot of the times. Because when we get out of the play, he just wants to long it. They were running at us, and I was like, "This is what we lack."
You know what? We were linked with Conor Gallagher all summer. We were linked to take him on loan from Chelsea, because he's from Chelsea. My man's good enough to go into their squad. Like, he's a good young player.
He was a problem.
Yeah, he was good all game. And you know what? I think it was about 65 minutes when he got subbed off. I was glad that he got subbed off. You know what I mean? I was glad that he got subbed off. I was happy about it.
He was killing us.
But what do? We probably go out there and pay more in wages. Yes, a free transfer, and we get Hendrick, who doesn't even get on the pitch. And it's those decisions that we're making as a club in terms of signing players. So we've gone for Jeff Hendrick on a free transfer, yes, but probably on more wages, where you'd have got Conor Gallagher, that's probably on peanuts at Chelsea. You could have got him in on a nice loan for the season, and you'd have had that box-to-box dynamic midfielder. And actually, he scored a few goals this season. So, you know what I mean? You're right. That's exactly what we're missing right now.
You know what? I felt like I'm happy we won, but I felt like we made it harder than it had to be.
That is exactly it. That is like literally nail on the head, right? Look, you'll probably feel the same. I know 40 will probably feel the same. Look, we're all happy we've got 3 points. We're buzzing right now. You know what I mean? 17 points after 11 games. If you'd have offered me that, going into the beginning of the season, we would have said, where do I sign? You know what I mean? Where do I sign? Because we would have took that right there. But actually, the manner of the performances aren't great at all. And it is a concern, because that Bruce look is not going to last forever. And I do worry about. My worry is that when that look runs out, that we haven't got enough points on the board and we suffer because of it. That's why these games before the Brentford game are so key right now. What Leeds Wednesday night, Fulham next Saturday, massive game, 6 points there to be won. 6 points, that takes us on what? 23 points. You telling me 23 points before
Pete,
Christmas?
We can't win 3 in a row, bro. That's not allowed, is it?
But that would be 4 in a row. That would be 4 in a row. Leeds and Fulham, 4 in a row. When have we won 4 in a row? When was the last time? I know Keith the stat man's on, because he just put something on a minute ago.
I think Tupac was alive. Tupac was alive the last time we won 4 in a row.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Hearing the chant like 4 in a row, 4 in a row. How shit must you be? We won 4 in a row.
You know what? If the fans were in the stadium, that chant would be that chant that got up today about winning 2 in a row, let alone 4 in a row.
I wonder. I'm beginning to wonder about Sean Longstaff, man. It's like, what does he do now? Like, I don't see what he does.
I mean,
he was really poor today.
B-Tech Shelby, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know what? I'd even look. Sean Longstaff was poor today, but I would even say he was better than Shelby. I think Shelby was worse. Shelby was worse, and you know what?
The stream I was watching it on, yeah, he was making it seem as if Shelby was Zabby. He's not even broken a sweat yet. I was like, that's because he doesn't run.
He was so bad, and you know what? It highlighted even more so what you just said for me about how good Conor Gallagher was. He highlighted that point because Conor Gallagher was making him look like a B-Tech version of himself. You know what I mean? He was absolutely awful. Neither of them. They just coasted throughout that whole second half. They just coasted. I'm surprised that we won in the manner that we did with those two in midfield because neither of them broke a sweat. There was no box to box. There was a great ball out on the right hand side just before we scored, and Callum Wilson made a fantastic run, cut inside, and he had no one to pass the ball to. Joe Linton, I think, made a decent run to the far post, and then he had no one else to cut back into. And you're thinking that's where your midfielder should be coming from. That's where you want Sean Longstaff to get on the end of it, coming from arriving from deep. He was nowhere to be seen. Shelby was probably further back than the centre backs.
Did you see how Gayle got his goal? This guy is not taller than 40, and he's towering there like he's Alan Shearer.
Yeah,
hey, you all right? Calm down, mate. Calm down. Get me a bowl up.
Joe Linton, yeah, is that guy. You know when you were back in school days or back in college days when you're playing football with your mates, and that random dude comes to play, but he's got the full kit on, the shin pads, the boots, and you're thinking, right, he's going to be dope. Then you see his first touch, and you're like, oh, why did we pick him? That's Joe Linton. Joe Linton will do something so great, yeah. Then he'll try a mad layoff or a lazy back heel. And it's like, Joe, you're not that guy yet. Why are you wearing shiny boots?
I have to say, Fumby, that ball through to Almirón for the goal was unbelievable.
Yes,
it was an unbelievable ball, man. Fair play to him.
He had so many other opportunities to play the same unbelievable ball, and he's just doing a madness. Like he gave the ball away one time in the first half when we were under the cosh here. He gets the ball. He just lays it off casually. I'm like, Joe, man, do yourself a favor.
Anyway,
he's got good hold-up play. Like he can hold the ball up. But when you ask him to lay it off, oh my, he's either he does a nice layoff or he just does nothing.
Yeah. He's definitely.
Got 3 points. Shout out to people listening in the stream. James Pretwell saying, glad we won, but we look worse than nearly every team when we played this season. Bradley Morris, but West Ham finishing and their attacking threat is poor. You have a threat going forwards. Shout out to Statman King as well, who's in there, wishing me goodwill on my starring role in the new film We Are the Geordies. Make sure you check it out. Again, your boys, star now. People always know, how it is.
If you've not seen We Are the Geordies, I would advise you to see it. It's on Sky Store. I got it the other day. Watched it. Fantastic watch. It just brought back so many quality memories from that season. Especially
season.
No, from the championship season, from that season.
I was gonna say there was memories last season.
It's a great film. Particularly, I mean, I was there on the last day of the season when we beat Barnsley, and then we found out Grealish scored the goal that won us the league, and just watching that film just brought back all those memories again. It was unreal, man. But when I
got a question. Can you imagine if Callum Wilson was on the West Brom team today? He'd have got 3 against us.
They'd have won the game. He's
that kind of attack, the way he would have played, he would have done. They'd have killed us. And that's what I want from my team. I want us to not just win games. I want us to look dangerous.
Yeah. And that's what I would have liked from today. Look,
Yeah,
in most cases, it's a case of we just want the 3 points. We don't care how it comes about. But actually, if we're being sort of a little bit greedy, we would have wanted a performance that was really dominant. A little bit like Palace. I know Palace. I mean, I know they had a man down for a long period, West Brom last week, but you want a dominating performance. I would have liked a 2-3, 4-0, where you just put in the team to the sword, and we haven't had that for a while. But the Bournemouth game away was the last time we really put a team to the sword and we destroyed a team.
Or West Ham on the first day, and that was just because they were kind of lost in their own selves, so we kind of did what we had to do, surprisingly. But even a 1-0, Pete, you can win a 1-0 and still be dominant. Today, towards the end of the first half, I was thinking, this has 1-1 written all over it.
Well, when we scored after 90 seconds, the first thing that I said to the guys in the Matters stream, I said, what we don't want is we don't want to do the same thing that we did against Man United. We got the early goal after a minute, less than a minute, and then what we did, we sat back for the rest of the game and just tried to defend it out. You cannot do that in the Premier League. We're not full of an array of talent, and plus, you're expecting us to sit back after not being training for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Fitness and tiredness is going to kick in, and with that, your concentration is going to lapse. We needed to go out there and we needed to put this game to bed in the first half, so that we could then see the game out at that point and just make it difficult for West Brom and sit back if we needed to. But we just didn't do enough. But look. Hey, we talk about ifs and buts. We got the win, and boy, am I happy, because we don't normally beat the teams around us. I made reference to the Norwich game in January, the boring 0-0 that they probably should have won at St James's Park. Dreadful game. A game that, against the rock bottom team we should have beat. The season before that against Fulham at home, where we went on a fantastic run, and we come to Fulham at home, rock bottom of the league. We end up drawing 0-0, and Mitrovic should have scored. And it's just like we go through these seasons and we don't beat these teams at the bottom. So I'm just glad that we did this time.
Our guy Statman Keith's got a nice stat for us. 40 Pete from B. The last time Newcastle United won 4 in a row, 2017-2018 under Rafa in games. Southampton 3-0, Huddersfield 1-0, Leicester 2-1, and Arsenal 2-1. Remember those games?
I knew
Statman Keith would come to the rescue. Ask a question when you're off 4D.
From the stream. You can't bring back that kind of form to me, man. I'm gonna cry, man. That's such a Rafa statue as well. Look at those tight wins. Look at that. Yeah.
That was a Rafa's second half of the season masterclass.
Look at that genius.
When we get past January, he turns on the form somewhat rotten to the end of the season. Classic Rafa.
Man, I miss those days.
Those were the days, eh? Rafa, we still miss you, baby. And again, look, man, me and Rafa, me and him go way back. He's holding on my DVD and stuff like that. So, we're practically like this, we're practically like this, So, watching, baby, I miss you, man. Bring back them good old days. I mean, look, Bruce is nothing on you, mate. Bruce is nothing on you. But let's talk about our man Dwight Gayle a bit more, because you know what? Some people wanted him out the door. He was playing at the look at Furlong's face now. I don't want to say nothing. He was playing championship football at, lo and behold, West Brom not too long ago. Hence the reason why I didn't celebrate. People kind of ripping him off already, but comes up with the goods when he plays. He did it last season against Man City, I believe. He's done it before in previous seasons against Chelsea, Man United. Why do people not put enough respect on his name? They need to.
I think because he's more impact than start. He's more impactful off that bench. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see Dwight Gayle start. But because of his height and we don't have precision passing, I don't want to kill him. For something that saves Karen Wilson is he can get physical with the tall ones as well. Whereas Dwight Gayle, you need precision. That Murphy's not doing that every game. Even I was surprised at the cross. He whipped that inside nice. And he was able to finish that. But you don't want to rely on that every game because defenders will take that against Dwight Gayle. You know what I'm saying? So I respect Dwight Gayle because one thing I love about him is he's a finisher. You see what I'm saying? So I don't mind us bringing him on when Joe Linton has pissed me off for 78 minutes. I don't mind that because I know at least the game will still be tight, and we have this in our locker room. The issue I had was they said it was going to be back in January. So I was thinking, what's the point? You see what I'm saying? But thank God, because now we can tell Andy Carroll, you will never play for us again. Never, ever, ever. Because he brings on Andy Carroll, we're not scoring tonight. It'd have been 1-1. Dwight Gayle just looks like a problem. He's hungry. He had the corner where they cleared it off the line. Jonathan's 6'10", and he didn't even get the corner. The headers in.
but equally, I think that's why Dwight Gayle scored the goal. It's because his movement's so good, and
so good.
If you've got Jacob Murphy. I mean, it was an early cross because it was from deep, and it was a fantastic cross. But if you're a defender and you can see that Jacob Murphy is just about to put that ball in, you're looking around and you're thinking, who do I need to mark? Right, I need to mark Callum Wilson. I need to mark Joe. and they're looking at 5 foot something. Dwight Gayle thinking, my man ain't going to get anywhere near that, and then bang, he's gone. And what you're saying is right, because if Carroll was on the pitch, he wouldn't have scored that. And the reason he wouldn't have scored it is because they'd have put 2 men on him to ensure he didn't get anything clean off the ball. So that's played into our favour that someone like Dwight Gayle, that is decent with his head, has got the movement and the quickness and the sharpness about him to fool his defender into being in the wrong position, and then just nipped him and got the header that's won us the game. And fair play to him. You know, I mean, it's a massive plus having him back, because I mean, the one positive aside from his goal is how well he linked up with Callum Wilson. I mean, we talked about Joe Linton and Callum Wilson linking up really well together against Palace. In my opinion, in a shorter time frame, I thought Gayle and Wilson linked up really well together. The little 1-2s off the chest, the little 1-2 little passes and movements, and they're both just similar players. And I go back to the Josh King point, is that Callum Wilson and Josh King were very similar style of players. Probably Josh King was a better hold-up man, but actually a lot of their movement was very similar, and it fooled a lot of defenders because they didn't know who to mark and where to mark them. Dwight Gayle and Callum Wilson can do exactly the same. I mean, Dwight Gayle isn't going to work as hard for you off the board in the defensive capacity, but going forward, both of them together is a problem. So all we need to do is ensure that Dwight Gayle now for the remainder of the season stays fit alongside Callum Wilson, because they've both got the ability to score goals. So, you know, let's see how that one plays out. And be interesting to see how it develops as a 3. Throw Joe Linton in there. You've got 3 attacking options now. Let's see how that plays out.
Dangerous. Moving forward to the next game, I know Fumbi already knows the starting lineup for the next game, because you know how Bruce does. Wins one game and then that's it. Shuts up shop.
Yeah.
But no, but I don't think he's going to do that this time. I don't think he's going to do that.
Okay.
No, I don't. Because he didn't win with his starting 11. He win by changing the formation. So my worry is he might think of starting Gayle and Callum Wilson. I think he should go with the same formation. I do like Joe Linton and Wilson simply because Joe Linton doesn't have to score. And it's a good tactic to bring on someone like Dwight Gayle later to give the defender something else to think about. So I don't mind the Joe Linton starting because he does work hard a bit. He can hold up the play. He did a nice pass today. If he gets 1 assist a game and we win and he didn't appear for the rest of the game, I'm okay with that because I'm not relying on him. We need Fraser back, man. We need Fraser. And today, ASM, if we had that first half, the first 30 minutes, if ASM was on the pitch, we probably could have gone 2-0 up. We would have gone 2-0 up.
James Fretwell saying, we are lucky we have a couple of players who can produce the quality because we perfect the team. Statman Keith always comes through with the killer stats. That's for Dwight Gayle and Andy Carroll. I'm getting all over the shop. Dwight Gayle, 5 goals from 23 games. Andy Carroll, 0 goals from 30 games. I mean, it just says it all there. Dwight Gayle is... We need to respect him more, man, as a fan base. Not just us 3, but as a fan base, because, you know, we're trying to write him off. Keep rising the eye, man.
5 in 23 is not champagne.
Bro, we need to know where our levels are. Our levels are here. You know what I mean? We can't have...
Show Callum Wilson stats. Then you start nodding your head, rude boy.
was about to say we can't have we are not fortunate enough to have two Callum Wilsons. We've got a Callum Wilson that we need to put in a nice box. Again, we only break when we need it in cases of emergencies. We've got a Joe Linton, the £40 million forward that can't find the back of the net, loving the money. And then we've got Dwight Gayle, who just pops up every now and then, scores crucial goals for us against big teams and relatively small ones as well. So that's the reality that we are in from me. Unfortunately, we haven't got Kai Havertz waiting in the wings. Wink, wink. So yeah, you know what I'm saying.
On current form, I don't think we'd want him. He ain't started well for Chelsea at all, is he?
There you go.
I don't think Lamps knows where to put him right now.
There we go. Dwight Gayle over everybody. That's what we need. That should be the headline. Dwight Gayle over everybody. Every striker, barring Callum Wilson, of course. What are you saying, Peter, against his starting lineup then against Leeds?
Well, I'll be honest with you. There's a few question marks for me. The one positive, actually, before I go into who I don't think should start, is that from what Bruce said, as of Monday, we're getting some players back who were missing. So I'm hoping that Fede, Fernandez, Lascelles, and St. Maximin will be able to return. That would be a massive plus to get them back into the squad. And that would naturally change who would potentially start anyway. But going on today's performance, I think Kraft needs to get the fuck out of that team because my guy is just not on it. Like, look, I know we had a little moment at restart, a little loving because he played and he assisted a couple of goals. But look, he's not up to Premier League football. I think he needs to go back to France or he needs to go to Germany where the game's a little bit slower and a little bit to his liking. He's just not on it. Like, if you've got Phillips tearing you up, Phillips ain't the best winger, let's be honest, and he was tearing him apart today. Hopefully Mankilio is one of those that returns as well as of Monday and we get him back in the team at right back. And if not, the way Kraft played, I hate to say it, but I'd stick Yedlin because Kraft was awful. He was really bad. And actually, it wouldn't be a bad thing to play Yedlin in a very pacey attacking Leeds team. Leeds like to attack with fullback, so having that little bit of pace there could be something. So definitely him. Look, Jamal Lewis did not play well today, and he was solely at fault for the goal. He was poor. He was lazy. He was lax. When that ball comes over, if you're allowing that ball to drop in the 18-yard box and you've not moved 1 yard forward to try and attack it, you have to take responsibility for that goal. There was arguments that people didn't call him and tell him there was a man coming from behind him. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if a guy's coming from behind you or not. When that ball was coming in and there was no one in front of him for at least 5 yards, as a defender, you need to get yourself forward and attack the ball to get it out of danger. He didn't do that. He stood there and flung a left-footed it and got nowhere near it. And
he did that in the first half, Pete. He did that in the first half, and he got lucky with it. I don't know what he's thinking. It's a clearance ball.
And you know what? Richie had him for that afterwards. I don't know if you saw Richard's reaction to it. Richie had a right go at him on the back of that. And then not long afterwards, he got dragged. And rightly so. Look, we all know that playing under Bruce, it can hamper some players or whatever. But I'm sorry, that's not Bruce's fault today. That was just a poor performance from Lewis. And you know what? With all the loving of Chetro Williams and the potential of him coming back in January, because he's not signed a new contract at Frankfurt, and they now want to sell him. And there's a lot of talk of him coming back in January on a real cheap deal or even a free transfer. He'll have serious competition then. So he needs to step it up because it's not very often that we have two quality left backs to choose from. So look, Wilson. Jamal Lewis, I think will play, but he's got a question mark against his name about whether he's going to play long term if we go and pick up another left back. Midfield for me, Shelby needs to get the fuck out. Let's go with Matty Longstaff or somebody else, please. Okay, maybe not Hendrick, but somebody else. Because Shelby was rubbish. He was absolutely rubbish today. And again, serious question marks need to be had. And then you've got the answer or the question, sorry, of do we go with Dwight Gayle? Is he fit enough to play 90 minutes, or do we bring him off the bench again? So for me, they're the ones sort of right back, left back, centre back, and then Shelby and the potential of Dwight Gayle. That'd be my areas that I'd be looking at.
There we go, man. Well, again, we can celebrate another 3 points, which I never thought I would say so soon. I might have to actually go out and enjoy myself, although we can't go very far. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Leeds on Wednesday, so again, possibly could be 9 points. Imagine that. Close to the Champions League spots as well, so when we get your passport ready, dust off the cobwebs, it could be coming.
Get that Gucci band out. Get that Gucci band out, bro.
There we go. People are calling for
that Gucci band.
People are calling for the Gucci band. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Gucci band.
Yeah?
Woo.
Oh, man. But anyway,
no Sports Direct band. No Sports Direct band. It's full on Gucci.
Yeah, cheers for watching. And